Greetings, motherfuckers. My name is Chris, and I'm here to grab your hand and fling you across the Atlantic Ocean as I hold onto you and get whipped over with you to go ahead and talk at you about the Amazon rainforest. Weird enough for a start? Good stuff. But how did the Amazon get its name? Just how many trees are in the large rainy wood region? And is today the day where I go over my fear of large bodies of water? Only time will tell. 2 out of these 3 questions are going to be answered. So sit down, don't forget to like and subscribe, stand up, then sit down again with some mouthwash as we lisp through 101 facts about the Amazon rainforest. Number 1. So, let's talk specifics. The Amazon rainforest is a heckin' big forest on the South American continent. It covers 5.5 million square kilometers, making it the largest rainforest on Earth. Number 2. I bet you're wondering now, maybe, I don't know, I can't see you. What is a rainforest? Well, according to DuckDuckGo, a rainforest is defined by a dense evergreen forest with an annual rainfall of at least 406 centimeters or 160 inches. Rainforests are often, but not always, located in tropical regions. Yes, I did copy that verbatim. Thank you for asking. Number 3. The rainforest is so big that it grows into 9 different countries. French Guiana, Ecuador, Suriname, Guyana, Venezuela, Bolivia, Colombia, Peru, and Brazil. Brazil seems to be hogging it all too, as it has 64% of the total watery tree zone. Number 4. Why is it called the Amazon rainforest? Did they name it after Jeff Bezos' company and should he sue? No. The name derives from the story of the Amazonians from Herodotus and Homer. But why, you may ask? Number 5. A Spanish explorer named Orellana was venturing through the rainforest when they came upon a tribe that built giant jaguar totems to pay respects to their rulers, who were said to be fierce female warriors, hence the association of the Amazonians from Asia Minor. Number 6. The rainforest area can also be called the Amazon Basin because there's a heck ton of rain there, there's also a heck ton of rivers. There's the main Amazon River, but the river has roughly 1,100 tributaries. Number 7. Alright, so the Amazon River. The smart science people in the lab coats, look, there are some on screen right now, believe that the river itself is 6,400 kilometers long. It's still shorter than the Nile by about 250 kilometers, but it is the largest river by volume with 219,000 cubic meters per second. Number 8. The river finds its origins in the Peruvian Andes on a mountain called Mount Mismi. The peak is almost 6,000 meters higher than the Pacific Ocean that it's near if you look at it on Google Maps, but it's 160 kilometers away in real terms. Number 9. The river changes drastically in width depending on the time of year. In the dry season, it's around 4 or 5 kilometers wide, and in the wet season, it can get as wide as 50 kilometers, which I feel like is too wide. I'd also define what the wet and dry season are, but it depends on where you are on the continent, so we'll get into that later. Number 10. Where there's forest, there's people who are going to cut down the trees like a YouTube censored word. As of 2020, 17 to 20% of the rainforest has been lost due to deforestation in the last 50 years. Number 11. The Amazon is often called the lungs of the earth, and where it's true that it does fart out 20% of the world's oxygen, yes, that's how I'm putting it, the decomposing plant matter farts out roughly the same amount of CO2. The majority of the oxygen we breathe is farted out from the oceans of the world. Number 12. The trees that them YouTube-censored words are cutting down house an amazing ecosystem. There are around 430 species of mammals, 1,300 species of birds, 3,000 types of fish, 40,000 species of plants, and 2.5 million different types of insects. Number 13. One of these fishies that swam in the rainforest, specifically the river, is the pirarucu. These heckers can grow really big, up to 3 meters in length. They are also meat eaters and use teeth on the roof of their mouths and tongue to eat other fish in the river. Number 14. So there are animals that will be chill and leave you alone, but there are also some that will want to not leave you alone. Venomous snakes, poisonous frogs, and jaguars are some of these heckers that will want their way with you. Number 15. We all recognize the coral snake, and we all know the fact that there are over 70 different species of the snake. That's just child's play. What we might not know is that there is another venomous snake called the bushmaster. This snake is the largest venomous snake in the Western Hemisphere and actually makes eggs rather than birthing live young. Number 16. Emerald tree burrows also exist, and they show off their gains, bro, by hanging from trees to snap up their prey. Their green shade allows them to blend in with the trees and the leaves, but the younger version of these viney boys are reddish-orange in hue. Number 17. Boa constrictors are snakes that I tend to think of when I think of snakes. They're big, goofy, and like to wrap themselves around their prey in order to eat them. The reason we're talking about them in the video is because they are from the Amazon rainforest. Number 18. Frogs. They hop good and go ribbit sometimes. There is predicted to be over 1,000 species of these heckers in the Amazon basin alone. In other countries, these ribbity boys are often found near water, while in the Amazon they are found more so in trees. This is due to the fact that the rainforest is so moist that the frogs get the moisture they need from just the air. Number 19. These frogs also don't lay their eggs in water like other species, and will lay them in the ground or in vegetation, which is good for them as they avoid egg-eating predators like fish or shrimps and the like. Number 20. The most commonly known frogs are the poison dart frogs. They look cool, but maybe we shouldn't touch them because they secrete toxins from their back. Speaking of golden dart frogs in particular, 2 micrograms of their toxin is enough to kill a single human adult. Number 21. It's estimated that 30% of the world's species live in the Amazon. And we talked about the 1,300 species of flappers that live there, and that turns out to be a fifth of the world's overall bird species. It's also predicted that a single bush contains more species of ants than the whole of the British Isles. I don't know about you, but you know? The rainforest births more than 3,000 types of fruit. Some of these include cacao, passion fruit, Brazil nut, bananas, acai, among others. And those are just the ones that get brought over to Western countries. Number 23. Only 200 of the fruits that are birthed in the rainforest are taken over to Western countries. So other examples of fruits that exist are the camu camu, a citrus fruit that is favored as a flavoring and juice in the rainforest. It's also a pretty common fruit to see in marketplaces in Amazon-based towns. Number 24. Mountain soursops are native to Central America and in the Peruvian Amazon. These spiky boys aren't eaten, but instead they're used in traditional Amazon medicine practices in order to relieve parasites, treat diabetes, or help with coughs. Number 25. So cacao exists, but so does something called cupuaçu. In North and South Brazil, the plant is used as its flesh can be eaten raw, and has a fruity chocolate flavor. It can be turned into chocolate-like products, but also into drinks, juices, yogurts, ice cream, sorbets, jams, and preserves. Number 26. There are also around 400 to 500 indigenous and Amerindian tribes that live in the rainforest. It's also been predicted that 50 of the tribes have never had contact with the outside world. Number 27. So it rains a lot in the rainforest, hence the name, but did you know that it takes 10 minutes for rain to hit the ground? Yeah, it's because the canopy is 3 to 12 meters thick. That's as tall as some people stacked on top of each other. Number 28. Remember in the first fact when we talked about the size of the whole rainforest? Okay, good. If it was a country, it would be the 14th largest in the world, tucked snugly betwixt Mexico and Saudi Arabia. Number 29. Also, do you remember when we talked about how Brazil is hogging the Amazon? Well, 83% of the total land area of Brazil is covered by the watery tree zone. That isn't even the most either. French Guiana has a whopping 96% of the moist vegetation area covering its country. Bolivia only has 64%, but we'll let them off since they have them heckin' huge salt flats that cover about 10,000 kilometers of the country, and genuinely look like the final world from Kingdom Hearts. Number 30. Medicine is a thing that exists, and 25% of pharmaceuticals made come from ingredients that originate in the Amazon. Less than 1% of the trees and medicinal plants have been tested by scientists though. Number 31. So the smart science people that we saw before, oh look, they're there again, know that the dust from the Sahara Desert blows over the Atlantic Ocean to get to the Amazon and fertilize the rainforest. This process is crucial in sustaining plant growth. Number 32. Some absolute mad lad called Martin Strel decided he wanted to swim swam the whole river because, I don't know, maybe he was bored. It took him 66 days, with him swimming up to 10 hours a day. Oh, it's number 33. So remember that river we talked about in the last fact? You remember the mad lad that swam it? Well, yeah, the smart people in the science coats, oh look, there they are again, we're really getting used to this stock footage, have hypothesized that the river originally ran east to west, but after the Andes rose, it swapped directions. Number 34. But there are so many more aspects that make this river unique. In 2016, for example, scientists discovered a huge coral reef at the confluence between the river and the ocean. It is insanely long, stretching for more than 1,000 kilometers and covering an area of over 9,500 square kilometers. Number 35. This is already impressive considering the majority of coral reefs we already know are not having their best time. Yeah, they're sort of dying. Additionally, the reef homes a unique ecosystem. Researchers have discovered giant sea sponges as heavy as small elephants, which, FYI, still weigh more than 200 pounds, and an impressive collection of exotic fish, sea stars, and coral. Number 36. A river this big must have loads of bridges crossing it, right? Nope. In fact, there are no bridges at all, as the lack of major infrastructure is one of the primary factors that make the Amazon a natural oasis for animals and plants. So yeah, the only way to get anywhere is by boat. Number 37. At least you can travel through it somehow. The same cannot be said for the twin river that flows right below it. Discovered in 2011, the Hamza River runs 4 kilometers underground, and it's believed to be up to 4 times wider than the Amazon River itself. It's massive, yet it boasts only 1/34 of its water volume. Number 38. If you want to witness something really cool, be sure to visit the river during Pororoca. The phenomenon happens at the river delta about 2 to 3 times a year during full moons. And no, it's nothing mythical, just a spectacular tidal wave occurrence. Number 39. What happens during these unique occurrences? The ocean tide manages to beat the Amazon River flow, causing massive tidal waves that can travel up to 100 kilometers inland. Bravest surfers from all over the world have been competing in an annual surfing championship for the last 20 years. Number 40. With so many varieties of animals, scientists had to get creative with names. I mean, you could always number them, but what's the fun in that? And there you go. In the Amazon, you'll find the Jesus Christ lizard. Guess what? It walks on water. The Prince Charles stream tree frog, the vampire fish, and the peanut head bug. All legit, I swear. Number 41. Alright, all these things are pretty cool, yet the Amazon is still facing incredible challenges. Today, more than ever. Deforestation, mining, and oil drilling are putting in danger the rainforest and its indigenous inhabitants, which eventually will turn against us all. The meaning of life. Then there's the whole illegal hunting thing. Do you know that the most feared predator in the entire Amazon is also at risk of extinction? Isn't that a bit of an oxymoron? The Amazon black caiman is one of the largest members of this species on Earth. It weighs up to about 40 kilograms with an average length of 5 meters. Number 43. The Amazon River manatee isn't much luckier. Known as sea cow, this creature is partly responsible for the mermaid myths. But today, their population has rapidly decreased, primarily due to intense hunting. Number 44. At this rate, it's been estimated we're losing more than 137 species every day. Similarly, in 2020 alone, Brazil lost about 11,088 square kilometers to deforestation. That's approximately an area 7 times the size of London. Number 45. I know it seems like ages ago now, but do you remember the shocking images of the Amazon on fire? It was 2019, and in that year alone, something like 75,000 fires occurred in the Brazilian Amazon. Number 46. And that was like 85% over 2018. The primary cause for this, once again, is deforestation. Number 47. Yet, where the vegetation stays strong, the forest is so thick that the Amazon floor is in permanent darkness. Yeah, you won't see a damn thing down there. In particular, the thickness of the canopy is almost impenetrable. Only 1% of sunlight can make it through its branches and leaves. Number 48. So let's talk about rain and temperature in the rainforest. The average temperature stays pretty much around 25 degrees Celsius throughout the year. Despite it being the hottest in October, the most rainfall is in March, with usually over 300 millimeters. Number 49. Remember forever ago when I said we'd talk about the wet and dry seasons in the Amazon? Well, here it is now. Now we're talking about it. Wet and dry seasons often occur in countries that are on the equator, like Egypt, Cuba, Thailand, UAE, you know. But they can also occur in the subtropics. And the plants of the Amazon release moisture into the air that contribute heavily to the rainfall that occurs back onto itself. Number 50. NASA also used their fancy satellites to find that the Amazon has 25% less leaf coverage in the wet season compared to the dry season. More leaves means more sunlight captured, because photosynthesis is a thing. They produce more leaves in preparation for the dry season. Number 51. While we're on the topic of leaves, let's get on the topic of trees. It's estimated that there are 400 billion trees that grow in the Amazon rainforest, and that there are 16,000 different species. Number 52. However, the smart science people who we keep seeing in the lab coats have thought that roughly half the total of trees belong to 227 species, some of which being the walking palm, the rubber tree, and the Ogurahui tree. Number 53. Speaking of the walking palm, they're heckin' cool. It's a tree whose fancy Latin name is Socratia exorhiza, and it is thought to be able to move itself into the sunlight by growing the roots in the direction it wants to travel, then making its old roots lift into the air and die. It's contested how fast they move, but maybe one day they'll run. Number 54. As cool as these are though, a fair amount of paleobiologists insist that these hackers don't walk at all. It's thought by some that the roots being several feet off the ground are beneficial for living in swampy regions. Picture stilts on buildings in places like Louisiana. Number 55. The Hevea brasilensis, or the rubber tree, is called as such because it can be tapped for this creamy white latex goop that is key in creating rubber. There are more than 1.9 billion trees across the rainforest, and they can grow up to 40 meters tall. Number 56. In the mid to late 19th century, up until roughly the start of the First World War, the Amazon rubber boom occurred. This drove a lot of the economy of Manaus in Brazil and Iquitos in Peru, as people around the world wanted rubber coatings for stuff like tires. This was the case until the British Empire began growing the tree in their colonies in Sri Lanka and Malaysia. Number 57. It wasn't all fun though. The plantations made in order to tap the rubber used slave labor in the form of natives to the Amazonian countries, often being chained and shackled to each other and being abused, brutalized, and murdered by those who captured them. 90% of the native population was wiped out as a result of this. Number 58. Today, the Amazon rainforest is home to around 400 different native groups. Imagine living in those conditions. Your neighbor is probably a snake or another predator you wouldn't want to run into on a daily basis. Number 59. Some of the indigenous population that live in the Amazon do live in modern society, in the cities that are in the rainforest. However, there are many that live as their ancestors did. They live off the forest, getting their clothes, medicine, and sustenance from it. Number 60. Education often comes up in questions about the communities, and no, where they don't have traditional Western education, they are taught how to live life in the rainforest. How to hunt, how to fish, what plants are good for medicines or food. Scientists ain't got nothing on these kids. Number 61. The indigenous people of the rainforest live sustainably and treat the world around them as something to be respected. They live with nature, taking from the rainforest without doing harm to the plants and animals that also call it their home. Number 62. Peru and Brazil have cities in the Amazon rainforest, and we're going to talk about some of them. Iquitos is the first on this list that I'm currently talking about. The city sits right by the Amazon River, and on the river is a historic steamboat that has been converted into a museum of Amazon navigation, missionary outposts, explorers of the Amazon, among other things. Number 63. Second on the list that I'm talking about is Puerto Maldonado. It's also a city in Peru, but a little smaller than Iquitos. Okay, it's a lot smaller, it's only a quarter of the size. There's an adventure tour that goes deep into the jungle where you can walk across a canopy bridge, travel on a zipline, kayak across the Madre de Dios River, and visit an island that has loads of monkeys on it. It's Nintendo 64. Third on this list isn't in Peru anymore. We're moving over to Brazil. The state of Amazonas has the city of Manaus in it. Manaus sits on the Amazon River, specifically at the point where the Solomos region of the river, which is beige, meets the River Negro, which is black. So the rivers visibly meet. Number 65. Lastly on this portion of the video that I'm talking about is the Santorim. The Tapajos River runs around the west of the village and connects with the Amazon River. There's also a shopping center named after it, the Rio Tapajos Shopping. It was opened in 2014 and has basically all you could ever ask for out of a shopping mall. Number 66. Look, it's a capybara. Is it just a large guinea pig? Well, yeah, they're closely related. The capybara is also found primarily in South America, in and out of the Amazon rainforest. They're strong swimmers and their toes are partially webbed to help with this. Is it possible that they've swam across the ocean to get to Florida? I'll never tell. Number 67. Capybaras are chill being by themselves, but they are often in groups of anywhere between 2 to 30. The group tends to be an extended family, with one dominant breeding male. Because they're such social animals, other animals in the wild and domesticated love to chill with them too. Even their predators. Number 68. Sediment is pushed through the river and forms islands. At the delta, there is an island called Marajo that, at 40,100 square kilometers, is roughly the size of Switzerland. It's also the 35th largest island in the world. Number 69. Just vibing, you know? Before Columbus came over and Europeans basically destroyed the native population of the Americas, there were a heck ton of civilizations. On Marajo, there was a civilization that has been dubbed Marajoan. They were a skilled society that had roughly 100,000 people. Number 70. Amazingly, they were able to create artificial hills or use mountain formations that were already in the area to build houses. This is predicted to have been done to avoid flooding. Number 71. The first person to walk the entire length of the Amazon River was Ed Stafford, who completed the feat in 2010. The length of the trek was 4,345 miles along the course of the river. But if you add in walking from the Pacific Ocean to the source of the Amazon River, the total mileage was 4,490 miles. Number 72. The epic journey took Stafford 2 years, 4 months, and 8 days, or 860 days. He originally thought he could do the entire journey in a year. He lost 7 kilos in weight during the expedition. Number 73. Traditionally, it was thought that humans arrived in the Americas 15,000 years ago in a single migration from Eurasia to Alaska, over a land bridge known as Beringia. Number 74. However, after studying the genetics of some Amazon groups, researchers found they were more closely related to indigenous Australians and New Guineans, suggesting a second migration to America. Number 75. The Amazon River is huge! Approximately 20% of all the water that flows on the planet's surface is here. Number 76. On average, 209,000 cubic meters of water is released into the ocean by the Amazon every second. That's more than the next 6 largest rivers put together. Number 77. Now you might think that most of the water in the Amazon would be, well, in the river, but remember all those trees we mentioned earlier? Turns out they're pushing more H2O out into the surroundings than the river does. Number 78. Through transpiration, a process involving the evaporation of water from plants, a large tree in the Amazon can release 1,000 liters of water into the atmosphere every day. Number 79. Given that there are hundreds of billions of trees in the vicinity, you can see how that would add up. It adds up to 20 billion metric tons of water released every day. The river? Well, that pours a paltry 17 billion tons into the ocean in that time. Number 80. The energy required to release 20 billion tons of water into the atmosphere, I'm sure you'll all be keen to know, is the equivalent to 50,000 hydroelectric plants. And not just any hydroelectric plants. We're talking 50,000 Itaipu dams, the second largest hydroelectric plant in the world, capable of supplying Brazil with 30% of its energy. Number 81. You might be forgiven for thinking that all those trees are a great place to absorb CO2, and you'd be right. However, from 2021, the Amazon rainforest has been contributing to global warming rather than helping us slow it down. The Amazon is now adding 1 billion tons of carbon dioxide annually because of all the fires used to clear land for economic use. Number 82. Time for another sad fact. The man of the hole has been dubbed the loneliest man in the world because he is the last surviving member of his Amazon tribe and has been on his own for over 20 years after his community was murdered. It is unknown what language he speaks or what his tribe was even called. Number 83. Even shedding a tear in the Amazon can draw unwanted attention. In the Peruvian Amazon, butterflies have been observed drinking the tears of turtles. Why? That's salty goodness, of course, since tears are a handy source of sodium. Number 84. Not all species like to feast on sadness. In 2011, scientists revealed they stumbled on an Amazonian fungus that eats up polyurethane. That's a plastic you can find in a whole heap of products and, by proxy, a whole heap of trash. What's more, it doesn't need lots of oxygen, potentially meaning it could be put to work breaking down all the garbage in landfills. Number 25. A devil's garden is a phenomenon in the Amazon where so-called lemon ants will build their colonies inside a certain type of tree. To repay the tree, the ants then go around killing other kinds of trees in the area, forming the devil's garden, which can grow up to 600 trees, housing one single but massive colony of millions of ants for up to 800 years. Number 86. The Amazon is also known for housing the blue morpho butterfly. Just like the emoji, the wings of this species of butterfly are bright blue, spanning from 5 to 8 inches, making it one of the largest butterflies in the world. These gigantic insects are so iridescent they can be spotted up to half a mile away. Number 87. The macaws, probably the most famous parrot in the world, have chosen the rainforests as their home. They are social and highly intelligent birds that live in flocks. You wouldn't think a bird lives that long, would you? Well, macaws typically live for about 60 years. Number 88. Scientists have found in a 60-acre plot of land in the Amazon 1,104 different species of trees. About the same number of trees known in Asia, Europe, and North America combined. And 70% of plants with anti-cancer properties from all over the world are found right here in the rainforest. Number 89. The vegetation of the rainforest is powerful indeed. It regulates global temperatures, it limits the Earth's reflectivity, that stabilizes ocean currents, wind and rainfall patterns, and it could be an efficient solution to climate change. Number 90. In a 2017 analysis published in the scientific journal PNAS, a climate scientist suggested that the Amazon could provide more than 1/3 of the global climate mitigation necessary to stabilize warming to below 2 degrees Celsius. But to get there, we need natural climate solutions, including forest conservation/restoration and sustainable agriculture. Number 91. We've mentioned there are lots of tribes living in the Amazon. The majority of these, about 240, are in Brazil. Together they reach a total of around 90,000 people. Number 92. The Ticuna tribe contributes to most of them. With over 40,000 people, it is one of the largest tribes per population in the Amazon. The Guarani would be the first, with about 51,000 people. However, their land keeps shrinking and they've been forced to scatter around. Number 93. In the past 100 years, most of their territories have been stolen from them. They were turned into vast, dry networks of cattle ranches, soya fields, and sugarcane plantations. Now the majority of these people live either crammed into overcrowded reserves, called resguardos, or under tarpaulins by the side of highways. Here they practice a lifestyle that integrates both traditional and modern elements. Number 94. In Brazil, though, there are no resguardos, as indigenous people have participated directly in the demarcation of their lands, making sure that the boundaries respect traditional use. The areas are known as indigenous lands. Number 95. The tribe with the largest territory is the Yanomami, with a population of 19,000 people. They occupy 9.4 million hectares in the northern Amazon. Number 96. The smallest tribes have very different numbers. The Awa tribe, for example, has just 450 people, while the Atkunso tribe now consists of just 4 people. Number 97. The spiritual world is extremely important to the indigenous people, and for this very reason, one of the most important persons in many groups is the shaman. This religious figure holds the knowledge of local plants and animals and is believed to communicate with the spirit world. Number 98. In fact, taking hallucinogenic drugs enables them not only to connect with spirits, but to cure sickness. Remember the wide range of medicinal plants we mentioned earlier? This is their way of using them, and it takes years and years of training to master their administration. Number 99. The hallucinogens and the rituals, as well as the meaning and function behind them, vary from tribe to tribe. In the Yanomami group, for example, they inhale yokawana or yopo, a hallucinogenic snuff to call on the shamanic spirits, known as zapiri. The spirits play a crucial role in healing ceremonies, but also in the rehu, a sort of funeral feast where communities come together to consume the ashes of dead people. Number 100. In other tribes, such as the Kaksinawa and the Ashaninka, it is common practice to drink ayahuasca during their healing sessions. It is a brew made from the kapi vine. Oh my goodness, you made it. It's 101. Then there are some groups like the Awa that use no stimulants or drugs during their rituals, but still go into a trance. How is that? They use the power of rhythmic dancing and clapping to journey to the Iwa, the residence of the spirits. There they meet the souls of the ancestors and the spirits of the forest, the Karawara. So that was 101 facts about the Amazon rainforest. Did you learn many things? Did you learn any things? Why don't you just go ahead and let me know in the comments down below, you beautiful you. Also, while you're down there, why not just give us a like and subscribe? Because we have all the fun dances here. Like this guy, he knows what's going on. Anyway, whoosh-ow! On the screen right now are 2 videos that you can put on your face. You can wear them like a mask. Probably not. They are thumbnails on an end board. You probably can't. You can watch them. I'm gonna go. Goodbye.